Welcome everybody to the Gene Keys with Alex Anderson
and Destiny Homer. Woohoo!
So excited to be here with you guys.
So we just wanted to put out an invitation for you all here on What Have You Forgotten? This is the start of something very beautiful and new. We wanted to let everybody know that this is for who?
This is for anybody of any race, any religious affiliation, any age or background, economic type. This is for anybody looking to dive into more self-discovery.
And then what this is we are going through the 64 Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. We'll put all the links necessary for the books and everything in the bottom here. Hey!
So, Destiny, what are the Gene Keys?
All right, so the Gene Keys are kind of like a how-to guide. They can teach you what motivates you, what inspires you, and how to articulate properly and effectively to condition your environment to be more healthy and thought-provoking, ultimately.
So it sounds like at one level, it's about not being thrashed around by your environment, but instead being able to navigate cleanly and more efficiently.
Yeah, I definitely say that it's part of a map, a larger part of who you are. It dives really deep into each of the 64 strands of DNA within you, and then also the intricacies within each of those strands of DNA, which is exactly why we've come together to bring this out to everybody who's watching, so that you can have a more easy, smooth transition into understanding more about your genes and yourself through the Gene Keys just a little bit more smoothly, because it can be a lot to digest and it can seem impossible sometimes, but some people really do want to take it a deeper dive without having to maybe go through all of the reading themselves. So we've done a lot of reading and a lot of contemplation and a lot of integration and a lot of research to bring here to What Have You Forgotten?
And be able to expertly talk about it. So you have a clear map as we guide you through this, and we'll be doing 64 episodes on each Saturday, and these are going to be known as Siddhic Saturdays. So we look forward to anybody who joins and watches these as we do these seasons. So Destiny, you mentioned a bit about meditation, contemplation, and absorption of these things. Could you talk about why these are important for the Gene Keys?
So contemplation starts at a very physical level. Contemplation is all about being patient with yourself and digesting this information to be able to utilize it for yourself. And feel free to add to this as well. So it's just purely physical. It can bring up a lot of things, and one of the biggest things I think that Alex and I want everybody to know is that we're here for any kind of support that may be needed, because things come up in the form of feelings, and sometimes those feelings are not as pleasant as other feelings, but they'll bring up all feelings.
Super pleasant as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So then moving through contemplation at the physical level, we get into absorption on more of a cellular level. So tell us a little bit about DNA.
So DNA, interestingly enough, science has shown, is a salt crystal. So to point out the importance of having appropriate salt in your diet, not that table salt, get out of here, McDonald's. No. But like pink Himalayan, really pure, Redmond sea salt, Good high quality salts are very important, as it's going to help to open up and activate your DNA. And you'll just see yourself with little changes along the way. Meditation, contemplation, diet changes. The fuel you put in is how your car runs. Diet and physical changes. So you see your life transform, and your relationships transform right before your eyes. So with DNA being the salt crystal, it also has a piezoelectric effect. So it responds very keenly to electricity. So we'll be going into some of the science, keeping it simple, easy, even in these complex and deep topics. We'll be keeping it simple so you guys have a good, easy roadmap to understand this. And so as we talk about electricity, would you mention just some important points on light and sound, Destiny?
Yeah, so the electricity part is super important when we're talking about the gene keys and about the DNA, because everything external, so your environment causes stimulation within the salt that your cells are within each nucleus of every cell, and that electricity carries those messages everywhere. So it's so important to just make sure that you are in environments that are really healthy. I just keep touching on the environment, but I feel like it's really important right now. And so we were just talking about the cellular, getting into your question, we were just talking about the cellular level of absorption. That's like when you can taste the light. People call it light. You can taste the siddhi, you can taste the freedom within each of your cells. When you start to be able to taste that, you don't need as many tools, you don't need as many sounds. And I believe that sound is a major tool, just as this is a tool, just as what we're doing here in this podcast is just a tool. So we're trying to embody light, and that would be the third step kind of within the gene keys, is embodiment, and it is actually the light language. And when I get into talking about the light language, the simplest way I can put it is that you can imagine being a child and having so much vulnerability and imagination, and then you're awakened to the real world, right? So then all of a sudden you lose certain parts of yourself, like, oh, I can't have that because I don't have money, or oh, I can't do that because of this, or the childhood innocence wears off, and that is that's really what happens when you're disenchanted by life. And it happens to everybody, and this is like a wake-up call, and I think Alex can definitely relate with me when I say that this is like our form of helping the world wake up and engage with yourself and be more playful and be more light, like a child, because that is truly the only way to everything.
So as Destiny talked about being disenchanted, part of what this does is helps to bring enchantment back into your relationship with the universe. So you go around everywhere with those binocular wonder eyes of a child. The kingdom of God is within, if you resonate with that biblical reference. So the enchantment factor is one of the things I feel confident speaking for Destiny, has found through this work, is the enchantment with life through going through difficult times and periods. And then to also comment on what Destiny said, she spoke of absorption and the language of the light. And if you guys know any pop cultural references, Marvel movies or Harry Potter, think of at the beginning, you're casting a spell and you need to say the spell exactly, otherwise it won't happen. Expelliarmus, expecto patronum. You need to verbalize it. But when you're to a certain level at the wizarding degree, you can just think of what that is and you don't even need a wand. So Destiny talked about the releasing of tools. So we're here to guide you to these places where you can just you know, be the spell. Or like Marvel, for example, you look at Thor and his hammer. His hammer's a tool, but in the end, he realizes he doesn't need his hammer to call in lightning. He just needed to break down to a low level to where his father could come to him and say, you remember who you are? You're not God of the hammer, brother man. You God of the thunder, of lightning. And then he just, I mean, you watch the movies.
You're right.
So we're here to, you know, share and show up for ourselves and for you. And Destiny talked about waking up and just really representing the best we have and that potential inside.
Yeah, so I just want to personally say thank you to all who are here, and thank you all for tuning in. We invite you to the rest of our series. Like we said earlier, it's going to be 64 parts to this series. So it's going to happen, like Alex said, every Saturday here on What Have You Forgotten? And he's gonna do all the beautiful things, like all the links and things that we need for books, and we have some affiliate links and stuff like that too. So feel free to check it out. And if you like this, like it, subscribe, enjoy all 64 parts, and maybe after that we'll have some inspiration for some other things that we can co-create. Thank you.
So look at us, all prayer hands. So namaskar, and yeah. Look forward to next episodes next week. Tune in.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.